Hey everyone, my name is JR and I'm the founder of Owner of Business Leaders Network. And today we are bringing another group of entrepreneurs together for a roundtable interview to learn more about who they are, what they do, and the impact that they're making into the world. And if you guys find anyone on here inspiring or someone that you like to connect with, stay tuned to the end and we'll make sure we give you guys some contact information that you can take with you to get into contact with them. So, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. Thank
Thanks for
you.
having me.
Thank you. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
I'm glad you're here. So, right now, we're going to ask you the very first question. Like, tell us more about who you are, what you do, and what inspired you to get started.
Sure, absolutely. My name is Ronette Turner-Corley, and what I do, I'm an AI consultant, and my specialty is AI video ads that I do for business owners and entrepreneurs so that they can get attention and be able to scale and convert sales. The unique selling proposition of my ads is that they're what they call scroll stopping. So within 3 seconds, I grab the audience attention. And not only do they help to stop people in their tracks, but people tend to watch it all the way through. And so that's what really helps the business owners be able to get their message out. What got me inspired is that I've always loved marketing, but I've always done it for myself, right? And so I never even imagined being able to. People always have come to me to see if I can do it for them, but that was never in my realm of thinking because I just didn't think it was possible. And then actually, here comes AI. And so I started to deep dive into AI. I got introduced back in 2020, but really started to hone in on it this year and created a specialty in my niche in the video creation. And so at that point, I got inspired to now started to, tell the story. I love storytelling and to be able to bring someone's message to life. So that's what inspired me.
I love that. Very cool. And with AI nowadays, it's if you're not learning AI, you're kind of being left behind in the Stone Age. So it's like we need to be able to do it, and it's
Absolutely.
overwhelming
Yes,
too. So it's like
it can be.
every time we learn something with AI, it's like there's a new technology, a new way of doing something, and so we need people like you that are keeping up with the technology, just knowing what they're doing, so that way we don't need to figure out on our own. So cool, love it. Regina, same question for you. Tell us more about who you are and what you do and what inspired you to get started.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. I am the CEO of Transform Your Performance with the same website. I'm a leadership coach and inspirational speaker. I also authored a couple of books, and I love to work with conscious, bold, and heart-centered leaders. I help my clients become thriving leaders with thriving teams. And how? Well, we focus a lot on leadership from the inside out, really. So self-leadership always comes first. And we look to achieve low stress levels in teams and high energy levels for both the leader and their team. I have very eclectic experience on 5 continents. I also work in several different languages, and I have found through that experience that what's missing in most the leaders anywhere is one piece, and that's the self-leadership. So you can actually attend 1,000 leadership seminars and still be a lousy leader without authenticity or that consciousness. That's at least what I have found through my own experience. So I love to work with leaders because when they get this, they create a ripple effect in their teams. So it's not just for them, but also for the people around them. And when they recognize their own unique genius and brilliance and potential and develop an authentic presence, that's when they lead with less effort and stress, and they also naturally pass that on to others, and it will help themselves also to feel more fulfilled. And that's really the goal of this leadership approach.
Love that. What inspired you to get started into your leadership training?
Yeah, so I was thrown into a leadership role when I was 27 in Spain. I just moved to Spain and learned the language, and I really didn't have any relevant experience or background. So I was a little bit thrown into the cold water. And what that taught me at the time is that when you come from authenticity and pure intentions, that oftentimes is more valuable than doing all the leadership courses. And then later I owned my own businesses in Brazil and Argentina before, well, totally different businesses. I had to deal a lot also with corruption, all these things. So all of this really gave me some very unique experience. And when I moved to New York City in 2012, I was thinking about, okay, how can I package all of this together into something meaningful for a new business, for totally new types of clients, and something that would also actually be fulfilling for myself.
Very cool. I love that. Markita, same question for you. Tell us more about who you are, what you do, and what inspired you to get started.
Sure. Who I am, I was a nurse for 26 years. Went to law school. The whole AI thing became huge, like within the second year of my law school journey, and I started getting obsessed with it. So who I was a nurse, and now I'm an AI automations expert. I also am an identity transformation coach. And what inspired me to get into this was that when I was a nurse for 26 years, all I knew was hustle, hustle, hustle. So then when I wanted to start a business and going to law school, I realized that became part of my identity was hustling.
Mm.
And when the whole AI automation thing came out, I'm like, wait, no, all of this gets to be easier. And so um, instead of creating another job for myself, I started figuring out how I could maximize and leverage AI so that I wouldn't have to hustle, so that I wouldn't have to do all of the cold calling. I just think there's a smarter way to do business now. I usually send out videos to my clients instead of cold calling. I'll send a short video.
Mm.
So things like that, I'm helping other people do as well.
Very cool. I love that. How long you been doing it?
For 3 years. Well, two years now. But I've been working on this whole thing for 3 years.
Congratulations.
I
That's
had to
awesome.
finish law school.
It sounds like you and Ronette will have a lot to talk about. So
Yeah, actually, she's someone that I'm in a group with her. I see her all the time, and I've started.
very cool. Old news. So cool. Hava, same question for you. Tell us more about who you are, what you do, and what inspired you.
So I am a tax strategist and business finance advisor, and we do bookkeeping and that type of thing. Um, what actually inspired me, so I have a really robust background in anti-trafficking, have been in it for a long, long time in various capacities, and I'm a little bit of a mad researcher, so I just like look at what's going on and kind of came to the point with that where just really believe that strong communities are one of our best defenses against that type of thing. And I have always enjoyed businesses, and so business in general. And so I believe local business ownership makes stronger, safer communities, especially when they employ local people and they have ownership of the community. So I really wanted to see that thrive. And I started bookkeeping because I love that people can start a business just because they have a service or a talent, but not everyone's good at the numbers and that type of thing. So that's kind of where we come in and help. But then as I was doing that, I observed that like the old model of tax preparer, I like to call it kind of the old model, wasn't really like advocating for the taxpayer. And these people, like I work with a lot of like trades and, service industries. And so it's literal sweat equity for these people. And so I decided to move into that area as well and become a tax strategist where I can help people because, again, I believe if people employ legal strategy to save money on taxes, I want to see them invest that in their communities and make their own homes, businesses, and communities stronger and safer. So that's really the passion behind what I do.
Yeah. So how are you? I mean, you brought some curiosity. How are you tying in bookkeeping with community building?
Like I said, I really believe local business ownership makes communities safer and stronger. For a couple reasons. One reason is if you have a business in a community, you care a lot more about the safety of that community. You care more about what happens in that community. You're just more involved. And number two, if you hire locally, you provide jobs for people. Um, Local business owners are more apt to care about their employees than corporations are. It looks different, because you may not have like that same benefit package, but the relationship's very different. And it's much more relational. And again, I think that getting back to that is what makes communities stronger, safer.
Yeah, I'm all
Does that
about
make
community.
sense?
Yeah, I'm all about community building, and I just love that you're able to take one small aspect of what you did to be a bigger mission, and so I just any industry that we could do, and that brings me to the point of like what I do, and that's the reason why I caused some curiosities because. For me, I'm the owner of Business Leaders Network, where our whole mission is to really build a community of emotionally intelligent servant leaders. But my specialty that I'm passionate about is helping small business owners leverage in-person experiences and events to generate more leads, close more sales, as well as increase retention in their communities. As because when you're bringing people together and you're strengthening that community, then ultimately you're going to have a better business because and I'm a believer that when you create in-person experiences, your ROI is going to be much greater than anything virtual because now you have real connection, real people, and you're actually you're able to feel that energy. And so that's what I do. I've helped people with generating micro small day 1 day events to help them build their business. And so what inspired me to kind of get started doing events was when I got out of the military in 2007. I own a martial arts school. I knew how to teach martial arts. I trained Marine sailors. I've been teaching since I was about 8 or 9. I still teach today, but I didn't know anything about how to run a business, and I was pretty bad. I was barely making $1,000 a month with the business, even though I had a ton of clients. I didn't know how to structure my message, how to structure my offers, how to grow it, how to make contracts or nothing like that. I was just like, okay, people are going to pay you month to month, and because they like you, they're going to keep showing up. Well, little Johnny gets sick during the season and they forget to come back, or little Johnny has soccer season, so they forget to come back, or family goes on vacation, so they forget to come back, and it was a constant chase to be like, hey, I see you're back from vacation. Are you guys come back? We decided other things. So I hired a coach. And this coach showed me some really key things on how to really structure and build my business. And this is what really inspired me to do what I do today. I knew when I hired my first coach, his name was Mike Metzger through Maya, which was a martial arts industry association. And he showed me how to, one, create offers, how to launch events, how to, how to sell from the stage. And that first event that I hosted, I had a room full of kids, and it was exciting. It was Bring a Buddy, Break a Board event in 2008, and had all these kids. It was probably like 20 to 30 kids in that room, and full of energy. And once we got done with the actual event itself, it was time for me to pitch the parents. And I was like, okay, I'm sweating. I'm like literally red as a beet and sweating so bad. I wasn't scared about teaching. That was fun. And now I'm like, I never pitched to a group about offers. You have to understand, like when I was teaching martial arts growing up, I was doing everything month to month all the time. I was anti-contract on anything. And I was like, I would never buy a contract, be locked in for 12 or 36 months. And who else is going to do that as well? And so, but I paid this coach a lot of money that I didn't have on credit cards. And I was like, I'm going to listen to what he said. And I ended up creating a 12-month contracts and 36-month contracts, which is very normal in the martial arts industry. So I took all these parents to the back room. I'm laying down our basic program, our Black Belt Club program, our Masters program, and I walked away with $270,000 in new contract sales from that one event. And that's where the light bulb went off for me. And I knew that day that I knew that I wanted to be like my coach. I was like, okay, I want to be like Mike. I want to be that one inspires other business owners and leaders and to be able to have greatness, because I knew the impact that it made on my life, and it inspired me to want to do it. But I knew I had to earn my stripes. So over the years, I learned the concepts of how to build a business. I learned how to sell, how to market, how to teach, how to lead, all these different things. But I also learned the power of events. And from that day on, I was hosting at least 1 or 2 events every month. And I did that same process in 7 industries myself. And I'd done it with hundreds, if not 1,000+ entrepreneurs, teach them how to do the same thing. And so I love teaching 1-day events, and I was inspired because I learned the power that it did for me. So that's what it did for me, and I just love doing that. So the next question that we're going to go to, and Hava, since you had the mic a second ago, I'm going to have you go first. Tell us one of your best client success stories. Where were they at when you started with them, and what did you help them to achieve in the end?
Yeah. So I hope it's okay. I'm just going to very briefly touch on 2 things because we do 2 very different, not very different, related things, but very significant things. that happened. One of them was a few months ago. So I'm a QuickBooks Pro Advisor Advanced, and we do a lot. My team does QuickBooks. And the thing about QuickBooks is they market themselves as though if you have QuickBooks, you can do your own finance. And for some people, that's true, but unfortunately, for some people, it's not. Like you have to actually know something about accounting and you have to know something about the software. And because if things aren't done correctly, you can run into problems. So we had a client a few months ago that had overstated their income to almost the tune of $100,000. And so just being able to find that and fix that before they filed their tax return was huge, because of, that was probably around a 15K, depending on what else was going on with their tax return, but like savings for them. And then just last week, I was able to help a local, she's actually a mental health professional, and we did some entity restructuring and was able to save her 10 grand each on her taxes. And so those are things that I love to do.
Very cool. If you found $200,000 missing before I sent it for taxes, I think you're the savior to me. So for my business, that's awesome.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
That's awesome. Congratulations, Markita. Tell us one of your best client success stories. Where were they at when you started with them, and what did you help them achieve?
Well, actually, it's a problem that I see across the board. So it's not one particular client. I got into this thing thinking, oh, I'm going to build beautiful websites and funnels and the whole nine. And when I did all that, I found that many of my clients had billing issues. They had invoicing issues. And so I have one nurse in particular, she called me. She's like, because I do the identity transformation coaching as well, she's asking me, about this invoice that's due and how this lady gave her a look when she told her how much she owed. And so I just started setting people up with their automatic invoicing because but I have a beautician client. She would let people walk out after COVID. They would walk out and say, well, I'll pay you on Zelle, or I'll pay you some other way. And I'm like, how are you keeping track of this? And come to find out, she was losing about $1,000 a month just because she wasn't invoicing people right there. So now she just invoices them before they even leave out the door, even if they pay it later. So just that problem across the board has been helping people. So the automations with that.
Yeah, time, energy, staffing, money, everything. AI is definitely a great asset for helping all business owners nowadays. Gosh.
Absolutely.
I'm sure all of us on here have used an AI in some capacity, and I use it for everything. It just it saves so much more time. I even use it to help me with songwriting. I write a lot of Christian music, and it's just cool to see where I don't think there's ever been any one song that it helped me do where I use it all, but it gives me the clear thoughts like, oh, I didn't think about doing something like that, and then I'm able to restructure it to the way that I want it to be. So it's just cool. It's like having that assistant, that soundboard, just asking questions and
Absolutely.
automation. So it's really cool.
Absolutely.
I love that. Well, thank you, Regina. Same question for you. Where were you at, or tell us one of your best client success stories. Where were they at when they started with you, and what did you help them achieve?
Yeah, so one story that comes to mind is a senior leader in a large tech company. Brilliant lady. She was really highly skilled and from outside, it looked like a brilliant career as well. But she was quite frustrated at the time because her team was becoming more and more disengaged. And we figured out together that this was happening because she was operating from constant pressure. It was just a time in her career where she felt so much pressure, and she was literally on the verge of burning out, and her team could of course feel that anxious energy. So her team members were now starting to mirror that stress energy, and I could feel it too, frankly, when she first reached out, because it was very, 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 very intense, right? And she knew it herself already, but she didn't know what to do about it. So while she had this very impressive career, she felt like a prisoner in it, and also a prisoner of her own anxiety. So that's where we started at the time, her energy and her presence. Because of course, energy is a very important piece of presence. She hadn't really paid any attention to her energy before that. So we needed to address this contracted nervous system first. And what was really came in handy is that I had also studied a lot of different holistic healing methodologies, although I don't do healing as such. As part of my coaching, it gave me a lot of knowledge that was helpful in that situation, right? So we really worked on self-awareness and anxiety, because anxiety in the end is just fear. So we really needed to tackle this fear, this subconscious fear. And it was really great to see, actually quite quickly, that when she shifted, when she moved through this fear and dissolved it, and she shifted her presence, the team actually started shifting with her. And that's that ripple effect that I love seeing in leaders, because when they change, their teams change, right? And everything became easier for herself now too. And of course, we also worked on communication and other details, but most importantly, her energy and her attitude. And we worked together for about 6 months, although the shift was actually quite quick. In month one, we saw the first results already. And that's really beautiful to see, like, how quickly it can happen.
Yeah, that's awesome. I definitely believe that you first have to learn how to lead yourself before you can lead others, and once you do, and you learn
Yes.
how to lead yourself well, then it will trickle down to the other people. So, congratulations, that's an awesome story. I love that. Renette, same thing for you. What is one client success story? Where are they at when you started with them, and what did you help them achieve?
Okay, great. Usually it's across the board, the visibility. I see that all clients come back and say, hey, listen, I was able to, track my visibility, because what a lot of times what they'll do, my company name is AI Ads Boutique. They'll take my ad, and especially if they do Facebook ads with it, they'll see a difference in the conversions, in the engagement. And so they can literally see the numbers there and how it hasn't been able to increase when it comes to that. And those things actually convert to sales. And so getting your message out is one thing to have a message, but a lot of times what happens, business owners are so busy. And so I get that I'm so busy. Sometimes I have business owners who say, I know how to do it. I've had a person to tell me that before, one particular person, I know how to do it, but, I don't have the time.
Mm.
And then also, they've been able to see the ads that I do. I call them Super Bowl grade ads without the Super Bowl price, right? And so, because AI is so dynamic, but it's not only that, it's the imagination that I have that I input into these videos that are able to produce this result. So they're able to take that and now have more people attracting to their business, where they're getting more appointments, they're getting more sales. And I hear that typically across the board,
Mm.
you know. Yeah, yeah. So it's pretty
Awesome.
cool.
I love that. And like what did you say in the beginning? The scroll stopper. So you gotta
Yeah,
have attractive videos that can get people to stop the scroll to be able to pay
that's
attention
it.
more. So
It's a lot of
congratulations.
noise.
I love that. That's awesome. For me, one of my best client success stories, this is probably going on over 6 years ago, but I had this client that came to me beginning of December, and she was already getting ready to host her first event the end of the month. And when I was looking, like doing an audit of her event, her presentation, her offers, and what she was going to do, it was a complete mess. And at the best, she probably would have sold maybe $5,000 at the end of her event with her offer. She was great at what she did. She was making this transition from being a personal trainer to helping other female fitness coaches, build their business through social media presence and things like that. And so when we started working together, I had to shift her belief, because she didn't think that people would pay premium dollar for what she was offering. So she was giving an offer that was maybe less than $1,000, but the services she was giving was more than most people that I knew that was selling it for 15, 25, $30,000. And so I first had to help her shift her belief and let her know that she was worth all of what she was doing. Had to shift her message, and I had to shift her offers. And so when we did that, we changed her entire presentation, the way that she was going to present it, her offers at the end, and then even her follow-up system after the event took place. And she closed $109,000 from that one event. Changed her entire life for the next business, or for the next year, for her business, and it definitely gave her that exciting motivation to that it was possible and to be able to do it. So I love sharing that story. I have many, many more, but being able to help people create the offers and how to present it, and being able to close more deals in one day than most people do in several months is one thing that excites me and it gets me going. And so I would believe that every business, every industry should be hosting events for their business to help them grow. So that's something I love to do, and something the transformation I've been able to see a lot of people be able to achieve. Hava, what is the best place for people to get in touch with you?
Probably the easiest is mantletax.com, or that's our Facebook, Instagram handle, LinkedIn, or my name, Hava Loudon, just like it is on the screen, HAVALAUDON. I'm also on LinkedIn, Facebook, um, or email me at hava@mantlebiz.com.
Love that. Very
Pretty
cool.
accessible.
Love that. Regina, what about you? Where's the best place for people to get in touch with you?
Yes, I have two websites at this point. One is transformyourperformance.com. It's the most complete one. Then there is a smaller one with just one page, reginahuber.com, where I specifically show my speaking topics and testimonials and so on in that arena. And then I have the Rise to Lead podcast on Apple or other platforms. And of course, my YouTube and everything else is on transformyourperformance.com, actually.
Very cool. Markita, where can people reach you?
Yeah, they can reach me at my website for my digital marketing business is epicdigitalmarketingpros.com. My email is chat@epicdigitalmarketingpros.com. And for identity work, my website is coach.markitaeder.com. That's it. They can reach me there.
Very cool. And Ronette.
Yes, the best place to reach me is actually where the most I checked is social media. So all my social media platforms from IG to Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, Ronette Turner-Corley. And or they can email me. I use my personal email most. That is Ronette, RONNETTETC
Very cool. And for me, I love to just give a free giveaway for everyone watching and listening. And this is my one day events conversion blueprint. And it's just a simple website. Go to the1dayevent.com. That's the1dayevent.com. Download my free conversion blueprint, and then that'll direct you for best places to get in touch with me. So everyone, thank you so much for taking the time to be on here, sharing some of your stories about who you are and what you do. And for anyone listening out there, if you'd like to get in touch, make sure you connect with everyone that's on this call. And until next time, Semper Fi.
All right.